Hello, I'm Alison Faulkner, Director of New Initiatives at the National Trust for Canada. I'm here with my colleague Nancy Wright, who is the Fundraising Advisor for the National Trust. We're pleased to present today's webinar, Building a Successful Fundraising Plan for Your Historic Place, what you need to know before you get started. This webinar is the first of a three-part series that will help you chart a course for success as you build and implement your fundraising plan. It's one of many Regeneration Works learning events funded in part by the Government of Canada. Today, donors have many causes they may choose to support. In the heritage sector, we're up against high-profile charities in education, the arts, healthcare, and an array of social services. Often, these organizations have fundraising programs that are well-staffed and resourced. It can be daunting to compete with them, but we can compete if we choose the right strategies, use our resources effectively, and set a course for success. That's what a fundraising plan can do for you. In this webinar, we'll talk about why a fundraising plan is so important and discuss your first steps towards building one for your organization. Just before we start, let me quickly introduce you to the National Trust for Canada. We are the only national charity in Canada leading and inspiring Canadians to save and renew places that matter. To learn more about our programs, visit nationaltrustcanada.ca.
So let's get started. Why do you need a fundraising plan? Why can't you just go out and ask for donations? Because a fundraising plan sets specific goals and strategies and a timeline to achieve them, it keeps you and your team focused. Knowing what you want to do, how you want to do it, and when you want to do it allows you to prioritize how to use your resources. And I think this is really key for us. Many heritage organizations are small, volunteer-driven, and have limited resources. So thinking about how to use those resources most effectively is a key part of building your fundraising plan. Planning out your year in fundraising forces you to look at your organization as a whole and create fundraising opportunities that dovetail with other activities, or to avoid periods when fundraising just isn't a good fit. And finally, having a fundraising plan in place helps you avoid those let's wing it situations that put undue stress on your organization and drive your fundraising plan off course.
A great myth in fundraising is that a fundraiser works away in their corner of the office and raises money separate from the work of the rest of the organization. Nothing could be further from the truth. If your organization has committed to fundraising, then your organization is about to embark on a journey, and everyone in it will be involved. You are not alone. Think about all the people in your heritage organization who have a potential role to play. Communications people will design your materials and help get the word out through your website and social media. People involved in delivering your programs or managing your historic site will provide opportunities to engage with donors and reach new audiences. Their experiences interacting with people who visit your site or benefit from your programs will give you stories to tell in your appeal to donors. People who manage your accounting will receive the donations, issue receipts, and provide you with financial reports. Your executive director or senior staff, if you have paid staff, has the overview of the whole organization and will connect you to potential donors in your community. Your board members and key volunteers will help you identify potential donors, act as ambassadors for your organization, and be involved in major gifts. All of these people should be involved at some level in building your plan, because when people are involved, they take ownership and they have a stake in ensuring its success.
Now let's talk about the key components of a fundraising plan. There's the why. Structuring a fundraising plan begins with your goals. These aren't always as simple as setting a financial target. You'll want to think about where you want your organization to be at the end of the plan. Goals can also be about increasing your donor base, reaching new audiences, or increasing your capacity to fundraise. And the how. There are plenty of fundraising strategies to choose from to achieve your goals, but successful plans target those that are a good fit for the organization, both for your mission and values and for your capacity and resources. And the when. Whether you are building a plan for your organization or for a heritage project, a plan has a beginning and an end. A fundraising plan for an organization typically spans 3 years and works in concert with your organization's strategic plan. The timeline for a heritage project will differ depending on the urgency and size of the project. Projecting how much it will cost to implement your fundraising plan is a delicate balancing act. You'll need to match the resources you have available and the money you have to spend with strategies that will achieve your goals. Your revenue projections need to be based in reality. Overestimating revenues is a pitfall that will set your plan up to fail. And remember that your projections affect other areas of the organization. And finally, the who. Who are the people that will make your plan work? It's important that everyone understand upfront what their role is in making the plan succeed and what's expected of them. Let's talk for a moment about those people who will make your plan work. As you begin to implement your plan, you will need to assign roles to staff, volunteers, and board members. And all of them have important jobs to do to make sure your plan succeeds. Ask yourself who will create your communication materials and distribute messages. Who will be helping you generate a list of prospects, making introductions, and participating in major gift asks. Again, it isn't your job to go off and make it all happen. Everyone has a role to play, and everyone, your executive director, if that's you, your board, and your volunteers, all share in the responsibility of making sure that you collectively reach your goal. And what's your role? Unless you're working in a situation where a volunteer or a volunteer committee is the lead, you are the facilitator, the coordinator, and the coach. You are responsible for helping others fulfill their roles. You might need to educate them about best practices in fundraising. You certainly need to give them the tools and training they need to make introductions and asks and serve as good stewards to your donors. You're responsible for implementing the plan and keeping others engaged, and you keep the trains running on track and on time. When you have team meetings, they shouldn't be dog and pony shows. Team meetings aren't about you reporting back to everyone else about how you are doing. If you've built the plan together, then everyone is involved in the implementation.
Before you start to build your fundraising plan, take a careful look at your organization. Assess your strengths. What do you have going for you that will help you implement a successful plan? And your weaknesses. What are your shortfalls? What resources or skills are you going to need to be successful? You really need to know where you are to plan where you want to go. What sort of fundraising activities have you been doing, whether by plan or ad hoc, and with what results? Be brutally honest with yourself here. If something hasn't worked in the past, even if it's a sacred cow, why keep doing it? Conversely, there's no need to reinvent the wheel if something has worked well for you. Look at the skill sets of your staff and volunteers. There's little point in building a plan that you don't have the capacity to achieve. And look at your available resources. Your website is your chance to tell your story, raise awareness for what you do, and demonstrate your impact. Is it up to snuff? And is it mobile friendly? Mobile phones overtook desktops as the primary device to access the internet several years ago. Websites should engage donors and make it easy for them to give. It's ideal if you can accept donations online. This is Bellevue House in Amherstburg. They're planning a capital campaign to raise $1 million. They were the winners in our 2017 This Place Matters competition. It's a great website. The donate button is prominent. There's a lot of information about their project that's conveyed in a video. What about your social media skills? Facebook and Twitter are great ways to communicate with your supporters and to reach and engage new audiences. Having assessed what you have, think about what you may need to fill the gaps, how you can access it, and what the costs are. You might have to scale back your plan if it doesn't fit your budget.
Whether you are fundraising for a nonprofit heritage organization or to support your heritage project, without a fundraising plan to guide your efforts, you'll always find yourself lurching from one fundraising scheme to another, never feeling that you've had the time to do things well. And taking some time before you build your plan to really understand how well your organization is positioned to fundraise and what tools and resources you will need is the first step to building a successful fundraising plan. Thank you for tuning into our webinar. We hope we got you thinking about what you need to know before you start building your fundraising plan. Be sure to check out the other webinars in this series for more topics on building a successful plan.
Looking for more? Enjoy the many tip sheets, blogs, case studies, and learning events available at regenerationworks.ca. All of these resources are designed to help you improve the vitality of your historic place. Thank you, and good luck with your fundraising.
End section 1.